Hello everyone and welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, the official podcast of competitive browser gaming, where our motto is, wow, this Scratch account's older than me. As always, I'm your host Kieran, and with me on the mic are the boys.
Once more.
Yep, we've got HmYesQuite.
That's me. I'm older than the hills, but only sort of old on Scratch. Not old enough for it to be relevant to this podcast.
True.
Episode.
We got Klabss.
Hello there.
Hi.
You want me to say something funny? Why you get the pause?
Try your best.
Yeah, we've got Nick ScratchRunning, also known as AppFillLord on Scratch.
Hello. Glad to be here.
And we have the guests, Spritemaster.
No. Do Astro first.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. And Astro947.
Whoa.
Hey, it's Astro.
No.
I've always been here, and I'm not going anywhere.
And there are our co-hosts. This is episode 31 of the only podcast on Scratch.
We also have Spritemaster. Hello, he's back.
Yes, yeah. All right.
Yes. Save
I'm the
them
bigger.
to last.
I'm the bigger guest, so I gotta go last, obviously.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
So true.
So
Sorry,
true.
Astro.
So true.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Sound
okay,
fine.
yeah.
That doesn't sound fine.
I'm not worried.
I'm not
Astro, are you still in creative hell?
Oh, yeah.
going.
I wouldn't say so. I feel like my mind is pretty sharp right now. It's just waiting for the right moment
Oh.
to strike,
Creative
Nice.
and I
limbo.
will,
Is there
and I will create beautiful things.
is there some clouds like in the air just forming? Do you see something forming in front of you that could strike anything?
Like a storm or something,
like a
something
storm.
that would be deadly and kill people.
That's okay.
That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, that
I'll take a
sounds
step
great.
back from that.
Yeah, for sure. You know what's crazy? This
What?
hasn't happened often. Actually, it has happened quite a lot now that I think about
A
it.
few times.
But with this many people on the podcast again, we have the exact same constellation of people.
the exact same cast
Yep,
as another episode.
23, I believe it was. Get
Yeah.
front page. Great episode.
It's a great episode, and since that episode, I've started an actual Let's Play channel, an actual Let's Play series on
Dude.
ScratchRunning, gotten a job, gotten out of college. Well,
Yes.
College.
doesn't time fly?
Doesn't time fly?
Does this feel like a season premiere or a season finale in a chapter of
This
your
is a
life,
season
Karen?
episode 2.
Okay.
You You talked about getting out of school and getting a job, and those came after the Let's Play channel.
Yeah.
Importance.
Yeah, because I did the Let's Play channel first.
You gotta have your priorities straight,
Oh, I see.
Mr.
Okay.
Sprite.
You gotta get your priorities straight.
right.
Yeah, subscribe to ScratchRunning.
Right. That was the first.
Can I say I something slightly and deeply disappointing to an extent is I had my daily basically Duolingo login streak of being on the SRCast for 11
Ah.
months, but I didn't make a year. I didn't make it a year.
No.
I've been
that's a
on I
shame.
think 11 straight episodes and then I missed 30.
My actual Duolingo streak is like 77. I think I'm doing pretty well.
I
Dang,
think that's
dude.
pretty good. That's actually
Yeah, don't worry about it. You said Duolingo. I made the link in my mind. Like I'm actually learning.
So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about what happened since the last episode, apparently, what happened in your life, Spritemaster, since then? What have you been up to?
When was that recorded?
So look, it was like
9 months ago.
Yeah,
like
about 9 months ago.
that
What's
was
happened in the last
April
9 months?
3rd. It was uploaded actually on my birthday. Holy smokes!
Oh.
Wow.
2021.
Happy birthday, Nick.
No, that's not how that. You know what?
It's a little belated. It's a little.
Happy
10 months
birthday.
Just call it a year.
Yeah, 10 months ago, I think I remember now. Well, I was living on the opposite side of the country.
What?
I think I was in Maine, and now I'm in Seattle.
Yo.
So
Yo.
I've moved across the country since then. And I used to work, as a preschool teacher,
Mhm.
and now I am not doing that. Now I am
What do you do now?
God, I'm gonna bore you. An executive assistant to an EV charging startup.
What?
What on earth is an EV
is it
charging
Web
startup?
3?
Does that mean electric vehicle?
Does that mean something
yes.
from Pokemon?
I think it's
Wow.
something from Pokemon, guys. He's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
True,
Basically,
Yeah,
basically,
that's
I
why
walk
his
out.
that's why his sprite is the Pokemon trainer.
Oh yeah. No,
Right?
you. My job is basically just walking out and killing Merrills over and over again. Boost defense. Is Merrill defense? I don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
Dude, I don't remember the old EV system. I just like do the funny
effort
mini games.
values. Ah, I get it.
Yeah,
I just use the feathers, those items.
Ooh. See,
But other than that, creatively speaking, I'm still working on a few music projects.
Ooh, nice.
And my job has me making advertisement stuff, so I get to film cars, which is very enticing, very exciting.
Who up filming their cars or just Spritemaster?
it's good that you can be creative in that, right?
Mm.
Is there something like ever since you stopped making stuff on Scratch? Did you have something else that filled up that creative void?
Yeah, what's your creative outlet?
Yeah.
Well, it was weird because I stopped using Scratch right around the time I got involved with a lot of theater production stuff.
Oh.
So
nice.
in high school, and that kind of just started eating up all of my time.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I did that, and then started learned how to play piano, started doing the music stuff, and then that's
cool.
kind of how it's been. That's kind of taken up. I don't want to say it's taken up all my time because that has like a negative connotation.
No.
That's how I spend my time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah,
So you've had like
I respect
a
it.
lot of different creative outlets. And I don't know if we're all kind of like that, since we are all on Scratch, but I'm sure we all outside of Scratch have like some sort of other creative outlets.
I have thoughts, but I don't make things, so I wouldn't know if I'd call myself creative or not.
Well, I don't know. For you, it's the Let's Play channel, right? If you think
Yeah.
about it.
Like my video editing, if I ever come up with an actually good video idea, it is over for you guys. Because then I actually have something to edit.
We're all doomed.
Yeah, my favorite thing is editing videos.
Yeah, dude. Would that be like your dream job?
Maybe.
I'd have to see how much money's on the
Yeah.
table. For you.
Absolutely. Dude,
Um,
once my PC is fixed, I'm making videos.
Oh, dude, for everybody out there, the path to this SRCast was a troubled
rocky
one.
one.
Rough
Was a
one.
troubled one.
So-
They had some technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
Oh,
so
dear.
I decided that it would be a good idea to get some PC parts and rebuild/upgrade my PC. However, it won't turn on now, so I'm recording this on my laptop.
Well. All right,
But I'm using the same mic, so nobody would have noticed.
Yeah,
I'm always
well,
having the software equivalent of that, which is reinstalling programs and reconfiguring my operating system
Ooh.
and stuff.
Ah,
So I definitely know that pain. It's very scary to like jump in and not know if you're gonna be able to. Like, you never know when something will come up that will just require you to have your computer working.
Yeah.
Right.
dude,
Or
I
like
might.
you go into an update and just kind of hope you still have a working computer on the other side of it.
right.
Yeah.
If this laptop breaks, the plan C is to break into work.
Right.
Break into work, bring my microphone into work, and just log into my works PC, install Audacity on it.
I totally forgot how I was gonna segue this, but the interesting when you talk about Let's Play channels and stuff like that, I was thinking about this the other day, in that there is such a huge audience. Like, if you talk about the big like people that have tens of hundreds of thousands of viewers every time they go live, and most of the time that's just them playing a game or just them talking. What's always crazy to me is that there's such a large audience of people that are just sitting there watching other people do stuff. Like, I've never understood that. Like, obviously I get it, but also like, how do you have the time to just do that? Is it all just teenagers and like preteens just sitting
Like,
there?
I can
like,
have,
they
I can
nothing
have
else
a
to do?
video. I can have a video in the background while I do something else.
Yeah, a lot of.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
That's a lot of it. There's a lot of the. So, like, I like to watch NL. We
Yeah,
got some
Northern
NL
Lion.
enjoyers in the
Northern
chat here.
Lion, my man.
He actually has a very old viewer base.
Yeah.
He's kind of a boomer. And so, yeah, a lot of people just put his videos up on the background.
Yeah. I'm sure he loves hearing that.
I used to fall asleep to the Isaac series.
Right? Same. It's such a funny, like, it's a joke basically at this point, or
just
a meme.
Puts the playlist on shuffle, goes to sleep, wakes up to a really old NL video.
Right. First, I thought what you meant was like the people streaming, that they were just very young and that they had all the time. But no, it really is just like when now it's me. I'm gonna be honest. Now I don't really have the time anymore to watch NL consistently. I used to, but I moved out basically, which is funny. I moved out a little bit after the episode 23 came out. When we were all gathered around here last time. But so since then I've had like less time to just sit around and watch whatever and do whatever. So I just like put it on when I'm doing the dishes or something. I still crave that itch to have some Northern Lights playing whatever in the background. It's addicting. And I don't know, it's something to put your
it's good.
When you don't really...
You can listen to the Scratch Running Podcast.
When you don't really want to be alone with your thoughts for a bit, no.
That's kind of, I mean...
memories.
To be totally serious, that's kind of what I was touching on.
I don't know about you guys, but I was never really that into streaming until basically lockdown happened, and that was the only form of live entertainment left over.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then I got into like Hermitcraft, and now I'm pretty...
Hermitcraft.
I feel like I've really united with the younger generation now.
I mean, hey, at least your profile picture isn't a picture of someone else.
Right?
Yeah.
No, what does that mean?
At least not one of those fans.
Just that
like you mean like having a streamer as your profile picture?
That'd be cringe. Unless the streamer is you, then it's cool.
So true.
It's just a profile picture. What it's meant to be.
Hey, I'm looking at you, me. Watch it.
Because that's kind of the thing, is that, and I know you were joking about it, but that's another thing that's why I was thinking about it, is that people have, it makes sense. A lot of people have it on in the background. A lot of, kids and teenagers have a lot of free time. But I think it's that whole, it goes back to the rapidly changing, like, societal, whatever, big buzzword here. Where people just can't go 5 seconds just in silence and just alone with themselves. Like, constantly they need some kind of stimulus. You need something that's distracting you. And I think a big reason streaming has taken off so much, especially recently. The pandemic obviously plays a part in that, but also I think is because a lot of people are, our collective mental health, especially this generation, is just deteriorating so much. And I think streaming is kind of acting as a big coping mechanism for that.
Oh, so it's rather coping. I was like asking because
kind of.
I've been thinking about this so much recently too. Like this exact thought. Like, how is it that once I'm like 5 seconds without talking to somebody like in real life, like I just finished a conversation with somebody, now I have a little free time for myself. The first thing I jump to is my phone, and this is like a very as you said, like big buzzword. Oh, big bad thing, whatever. But
phone.
It is funny, and you being a preschool teacher, like, did you notice that with the younger kids, like that they always? Ooh. I don't know if they had phones.
Are those kids old enough to have that?
No.
Yet?
Okay, that's my question.
Don't give the babies phones.
That's interesting that you say that. It's a good connection because the kids usually. So, okay, they're not allowed to have any kind of technology. Our school was specifically an outdoor school, so we spent all day, in nature and doing stuff like that.
That's great.
But you could tell, we got to know the parents a little bit, and you hear stories about things like that. You could tell which kids go home and their parents just give them an iPad and just leave them alone.
Dang.
And you can tell which, you can tell which kids are kind of neglected, and it feels really weird.
That's the worst
to say that
kind
because
of parenting.
That's the thing, what you just said, because as a teacher, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, their parents suck. Yeah. Oh man, like whatever. Like you have to, know them. You know the parents. You talk to them. You form relationships with them, and it's not all black and white. Like True. Some parents are really doing their best, and they just don't have time, and they just don't have the energy.
They gotta watch NL, man. They gotta watch that Northern Lights.
I'm not saying that my brain is bigger than most Scratchers, because
I'm saying that.
I watch NL. I'm saying that it's
I'm
bigger than most
saying
scratchers because I play Big Brain Academy Brain versus Brain on the Nintendo Switch.
So
There you
true.
go.
So
Sponsor.
Yeah.
true.
Dude.
I was gonna bounce off sort of the idea around trying to just fill the void of our deteriorating mental health using streamers. I think that also is one of the leading causes of a lot more like parasocial relationships between these viewers and these big streaming personalities. Where
You get a
know,
few people in your comment section. Like some of them are tight, but some of them are.
I think
Well, it's a
there's
weird
something,
relationship because they don't know who they don't know who you are. There's hundreds of thousands of people
They
in the audience.
really
They'll
don't.
never. Yeah, so it's very interesting.
Like all they can really see is the my face and like the top, my face and my shoulders. That's all they can see
Right.
of me. And the game I'm
Talking
playing.
about,
All they can see is a hairstyle and a video game, and that's all they get.
I guess so.
I would like to elaborate. I think there's a difference between streamer parasocial relationships and Scratch parasocial relationships.
Oh,
Because
that's
the
a
thing
one.
with Scratch is it's relatively actually not that many people. I think the only people who could actually have a true parasocial is probably like Griffpatch, who has so many comments.
You think?
He literally can't form.
I think people think
I don't
they're
know.
talking to Griffpatch.
This might be something
And-
we could ask Astro over here.
Astro also
Yeah,
probably gets a fair
I
amount.
have many comments from kids. that
See, okay,
seem-
yeah. If you're ever getting
I don't know.
hundreds a day, I'd say yes, you do have some sort of parasocial. But I get like 4 comments a day.
I think what helps is that I don't really engage with them.
Fair. Okay.
I kind of
One
have a rule
time
that I
I
only reply when the comment is actually like asking me a question
Interesting
that's not
comments
just trying to
only.
get my attention or whatever. But
Mhm.
they're
Oh,
like,
you hate
I
your
don't know.
fans, yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Us too.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched a video that said something along the lines of, if you want to actually interact with the community, you go to a smaller community.
Yeah.
But if you just
makes
want to
sense.
join the hive mind and spam emotes and go SR Wimmers +2 -2 LOLW, you join a big community.
In that case, you spam
Well,
SR
that's-
Women's right now.
Yeah, and that's how it be.
That's sort of the dynamic thing is it's a power dynamic, but I think it's a different thing when you do have such little interaction where you actually do start to remember people's names and be like, I know this person, they asked these questions, I know this person, they asked that.
Oh yeah.
Because I have a decent following, but I don't actually get that many comments. So I know a lot of the people who comment on my page based on like their personalities.
Shouts out to the Candle World community. Love you
Yeah, a lot
guys.
of people theorizing about the different lore stuff. But I think one of the hallmarks is like basically you have a faceless fan base that you kind of generalize your communications to, and then that's how you form an unhealthy relationship there.
For sure. Also, the other way around. If you're just like, I don't know. For Astro, you said like you just kind of don't interact with them. If they're too much, like,
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because I'm right here in the call with Klabss, but at the same time I look up to him as a creator because of how
Right.
good Candle World is.
Like,
well, there you go, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's about knowing that there's a person behind that's just a person.
Yeah.
And not like
Mhm.
forming any, like, you can look up to a person, but at least like I don't know.
know they're a person. You gotta know they're just a
Yeah.
dude. We're all just
Just a
dudes. I say this
We're
a
all just-
lot. It's very some people are so incredibly starstruck with Griffpatch, but if you're ever too starstruck, just remember that the pond in which Griffpatch resides in, his influence is like smaller than just like the average gotcha YouTuber, like who
Right.
makes like a random like little cutouts talk to each other.
Griffpatch has 200,000 followers. Alpharad has 2.6 million subscribers on YouTube.
I mean,
Scratch
yeah.
is such a small
It's
website.
a really biggest fish in the smallest pond. So like you should never feel too like starstruck about all the people on this website. We're all just dudes. Or not
We're all
dudes.
just guys. We're all just
folks.
scratchers. Except me, I'm not a scratcher.
Nice.
Technically, neither am I anymore. But if we're talking about that, ties it all together with how the website's changed over the past like 10 years. In that I don't think, there were barely more than 200,000 users in total, while we were probably even less than that. I don't
Oh
remember
yeah,
the
less,
exact
way
number.
less.
Way less.
But like, I just remember how like people got on, and I always say this because it's the only thing I remember, is that people got on the front page with like 200 views.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
now, like seeing now that it's like it's become closer and closer to YouTube, people embracing the end screen, like dubstep music,
algorithm.
icons getting thrown up into the air,
one of
and
the
like the love
SRCast
and favorite
animated
things.
entries had an outro with annotations.
Well,
You hovered over the thumbnail and it showed a scratch link.
let me ask you, Spritemaster. Back in the day when y'all were making your animations, Astro, you too. Weren't you also putting like an end screen in there with like some Perry Grip sped up song?
If you count a black and white screen that just said the end then yeah, I
The
guess.
end, and a caption. Okay, dude.
I don't know.
I am one of those people who was extremely active in 1.4, but I will say I'm to an extent a 1.4 naysayer because I enjoy 1.4 for its novelty.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely remember being entirely like pushed towards like, you have no fame, get some fame, add yourself wanting to be famous, make a stick figure.
for
I hate
sure.
people who make stick figure animations. Yo, Fanta King
Not
is
gonna
ripping
lie.
off Astro. What the heck?
People popped off in 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0
Oh,
was
man.
kind of a
People popped off in Scratch 2. I'm thinking about Martin Brandley, Jonathan Schaefer, and other such
the grip
scratchers that just put the blocks down and just
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, there was an end screen and there was a culture around it. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
I think I just saw, because none of us when people were doing stuff like that, I'm probably the biggest offender, probably. I can say that with confidence, which is not a good thing.
Well,
But
we're all young.
is that it didn't come from. That's the thing, is that I can see the influence that YouTube's had.
Oh, I
That's
see
the
what you
difference,
mean.
I think.
That is true. It's
And
different. It is
in
different.
the past, like when I was doing it, like I didn't really, not that it's a great idea to come up with, but I just kind of was just like, oh yeah, I'll just put an end, the end,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
put like funny music.
Yeah, that's
When
fine.
people are watching YouTubers and watching personalities and watching streamers, and they're going, oh, I'm just gonna do that here. They're just.
I think
they're
what
just
you're-
to
taking
like,
that.
comment, and subscribe.
What you mean is specifically the end screens where it says love it and favorite it, like they have little icons for that.
Okay, people did that
that-
though. People
that's
definitely did
cringe.
that.
I'm sure they did.
People did that in 2.0. However, I don't like it.
Well, I
So
don't know.
true.
Like the thing is, the only question is, do those people realize that it's worth nothing if they love or favorite? Except
it's evolved. It's
you know,
evolved.
yeah. So like, except for the fact that they like get some sort of feedback,
It's a little serotonin app, fellow.
Yeah, it's like a little-
Wow.
yeah, agreed.
Well, I think, did they get rid of Top Loved? Is that a thing?
I think that's
still a thing.
I think what the community is remixing and what the community is loving are at the bottom of the front page.
Yeah. Featured is
Yeah,
like
what the community is loving is at the bottom, and it used to be at like the top.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it used to be less intuitive to copy code from other people's projects.
Well, yeah, you had to download
without
it.
remixing the entire thing. Because now people have like the
Oh, yeah.
backpack and stuff.
Right.
Because you could download
And
it.
a lot of those outros and stuff. I like a lot of the like really stylized things that get included in projects. People are following like templates and stuff, or they're just literally throwing someone else's sprite in their backpack, right?
Right.
Mm.
I mean, that's it's funny. There's a little thing I'm doing on the side that's literally just about the fact that you can do that. That you can just
Right.
walk into someone's project and be like, I'll steal all of this.
You wouldn't download a Scratch project.
Yeah, basically.
Well, you could. I mean, you could always do that. It's just a little different now. Like you
It
could
is.
download. I remember that when it was still the offline editor, that you could just download. You could download anybody's project and just
They ran better.
Upload it.
Everybody said, "Please download my project" because they ran better back then. If
And
they
they
were
did.
downloaded.
They did run
Yeah.
better. Absolutely, they did.
I think Scratch Offline is the spiritual predecessor to Turbo Warp.
Right.
Right.
Another thing, getting a Scratch offline, it would tell you how many people downloaded your project. So like that was another thing people
I
would
like
be.
that.
Yo, did you add a
like
script
that.
adder to your project? I looked inside. There was a sprite with a bunch of scripts in it. And I'd be like, dang it! No, you stole my music. I could tell you downloaded the project. Don't steal my music. And
People
it's not
stealing
yours.
music.
Oh my
Dude,
goodness.
I
No
think
way.
there were collectively maybe like 15 songs on Scratch, and everyone just reused the same 15
Ultimate
songs. I
Showdown,
swear.
Perry Grip songs.
I would
all
love to
5
hear.
of them.
I would love to hear y'all's Scratch 1.x nostalgia.
This
playlist.
is the best burrito I've ever
I've
eaten.
ever
Yum yum
eaten.
yum.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I'll drink to that.
yeah.
Bro.
Uh,
It wasn't even there, and I'm aching.
something I wanted to talk about this episode specifically. I know we're like going on the nostalgia trip right here. If nobody else has anything like big to say about this, it's just-
Wawa breakfast hoagie song.
Nah.
That was my favorite.
I appreciate the people who like put in like I don't know, a pop song from the 90s, right? That wasn't, I guess, okay, Rick Rolling was still, you know.
Bro, I didn't even know that the 90s existed
Right.
until
So
I was
true,
like
so
The
true.
16.
1990s. I mean, the 1990s. I wasn't there for it, but it's still nice.
Did they have
Anyways,
electricity in the
fellas.
90s?
Fellas,
Well,
previously on the Scratch Running Podcast, we ran a poll and asked
Ooh.
if we did a mid-season contest, would you want a DTIYS draw this in your style art
Yeah.
contest, or a game jam, or a thumbnail art contest, or a mini SRCast animated, or just an animation contest?
right.
And the poll was pretty even.
It's true. This
Yeah.
is close.
Yeah,
One
we had-
definitely had the upper hand, but
But yeah,
you know,
so it was 20% for a mini animation contest, 20% for thumbnail art. So like designing a thumbnail, if we give them like some of the details and they draw a thumbnail for the episode, question mark.
yep, pretty much.
And then 22% for a DTIYS. Yeah, that's fair.
I think that could be very
And-
cool.
And then 38% for a game jam. That sounds fun.
SRCast game jam.
A game jam does sound amazing.
I'm gonna be honest, like for a mid-season contest, it's supposed to be a smaller one. I was like, how are
Yeah.
people gonna make
It's
a
like a
game?
It doesn't
mini-
gotta be a smaller one. We have a month between every episode.
Dude, how do you make a good game in that? Like, okay,
In
I
a
don't know,
month?
Can't make it.
well, yeah, like in a month.
It's-
I don't know. Like,
A
just
month is like a pretty typical amount of time. I was
tell
gonna
me
say,
about
If
it.
you
Quite.
allow,
Tell me
like-
about it.
Yeah.
Quite is a month enough?
True.
Yeah, if you're not me.
What if you were to allow like team submissions?
The beauty
Yeah,
of
for-
Death Game Jam was like a month.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
yeah,
for
usually
most, a week is
regular
plenty
game
for a
jams are
game.
like a day or a week for
Okay.
an actual
Yeah.
game jam.
so it's
We could do
clear,
a game jam in a month.
It's clear
Mm.
people like game jams, and I also love game jams. I almost joined
Yeah.
the chaotic game jam until I realized I can't, like time wise. But I
was like, what do you mean?
mean?
What happened?
My account died. No,
Mm.
so the only thing I'm thinking here, or the thing I'll have to think about going forward here, is how do we do it so that people can. I always want to like maximize, you know, I want to make it as accessible for everyone as possible, right?
Yeah.
So I really got to think about, now that I know and now that we know we're probably going to do a game jam, exactly how is this going to work so that it's going to be easy for people to not just, I don't want to give like a theme and then a bunch of people just make platformers. I don't like that.
Well,
I think we've had
kids
too
make
many.
what kids want to make.
Well, one thing you could do is do a project jam. So it doesn't have to be a
Ooh.
game or a specific genre of
That's
game,
what
but
I
it
was
does
saying. We
need to
should
be.
just do it all. Just do it all.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And you
a
could
free-for-all.
either do a theme,
Project
or you
jam,
could
dude.
say a theme and like if it's SRCast adjacent, that's
Mhm.
bonus points, but like doesn't even have to be that.
Now you got me thinking with the SRCast adjacent. How would an SRCast game look
Yeah.
like? Basically how
not
SRCast looks in
sure.
Code Breakers?
Basically, yeah, you just swap between the Scratch runners and we all do different things or something.
I don't know.
You have to edit everyone's audio for a podcast.
Right.
So
There we
true,
go.
so smart, so
Yesterday, I asked you to edit the Scratch Running Podcast for me, and here are your best answers.
Oh, great. I love that. Thank you. That was a great
Here are
idea,
your
Astro.
podcasts that I'm seeing for the first time.
Nick, you're so ambitious. You were talking about people editing and scrapping together these clips, but these are just kids. I'm not sure they have
I know.
the expertise to do such
We got
sorts of
20
actions.
entries, and
But
they
people
were
still did it.
bangers.
People still did it. And if I
Like
didn't
two
say it,
people. Like 2 people.
well, that's better than 0, isn't it? Yeah, Klabss.
if you're gonna make a whole contest about it,
Right, and be like, make a whole contest, but curate it for the 2 top people.
I'm just thinking, should we maybe like already like pre-create some? Pre-create? That's not how you say that. Create
Prepare.
some sprites. Prepare some sprites so that people can work with those. Is that weird? I don't know. We'll have to
I
see.
would say just let people fly with whatever comes to their mind when they hear a Scratch Running themed project jam.
Right. Maybe I'm thinking too much about
Yeah.
it. Maybe you guys out there have a better
Maybe we're
idea.
overthinking it.
Yeah, I
Let us
was
know
gonna
in the
say,
comments
we-
below, guys.
we
Let
might
us
be
know in the
over
comments.
boring and discussing on our one podcast per month how we're gonna set up a contest, which could be done off of the podcast.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
So, who here has watched Dragon's Air?
I've
Well,
watched Dragon's Air.
I have watched some
I-
of it, Kieran.
Yeah, me and Klabs
Tell me
watched
about
it in a call like a week ago.
It missed.
This was all right. Pretty good.
Made by Stickbird. We'll do
Pretty
a
good
quick
animations.
little overview. It was please check it out. It was a good animated series. A lot of talent on that. We got a lot of
really
good
well
voices.
animated.
Mm.
It's
Pretty
just,
good
it's
voice
like a
work.
little web series about a kid in a fantasy world with dragons.
Yes.
And I don't want to
Wow.
spoil too much
Kid-
because every episode has like a plot twist in it.
Every episode has a plot twist.
Can
I'm
I
not
can
sure
I
if
ask
you
a
have
little?
to watch the. I'm not sure if the prologue is optional or not.
Ah,
It's not optional. The prologue is utterly not optional. We skipped
Yeah.
the prologue and then we were like,
You're like,
what
what
the heck
happened?
is happening? What the heck?
We skipped
Yeah.
the prologue and just watched 1 to 3, and then like
was like,
a
what?
week ago, I watched the prologue up to episode 4, and yeah, the series is good.
Astro,
Yeah.
do you sometimes find yourself like looking at or how often do you browse Scratch just to find like new animations and what the people are doing these days? I know you're still like semi-active, right? But
Like never. I
Okay.
just like follow what my friends do. Really.
okay, that's fair.
That's the way to be.
No,
That's the way
I'm
to
not
be.
saying that's the only way to do it. I'm just saying that's fair because we are all
That's how
busy
I do it.
people with a busy life.
I'm friends. I'm friends with
Yeah,
Scratch
I feel
Runners
like I'm
who
missing
I
out on
follow.
some really good stuff though.
I feel like I just introduce everyone here to different series and animations, like Come
It's true.
Creatures of the Night and Dragon's Air.
Yeah,
Right,
basically, Klabs is the dungeon master of Scratch.
right. Pretty
Fair
much.
enough.
He's just showing us what
He's-
the
Does that mean I
Yeah.
DM your experience? I curate your Scratch
Your
experience.
existence.
yes.
Kinda,
Yeah,
Pretty
fair
much.
enough,
but
fair
also your world building. I'm talking about Candle World again.
enough. Okay.
Well. Can I ask a question? I wanted to segue into this earlier, but just kind of didn't find a way, so that's fine. But it's something I want to talk about in this episode. So quite earlier you said something about like a little side project you had, which is I don't know if we can,
Yes.
you know, if you want to talk about it, you know, openly here, because it was like at the start it was like a little secret thing, but you wanted people to join in. Right?
Well, let's see. What's the question?
Well, okay, no, my question is just more, or not the question, but I want to talk about how we all somehow find like little distractions, like side projects to either not think about or not have
yes.
to work so much on our bigger projects. For example, Klabss.
Distraction projects.
Distraction projects. I don't know if I want to call them distractions because that has like a negative
I call them
connotation
that.
to it.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, never mind then. But you have
You make a side project to distract yourself from the main project. You make another one to distract yourself from the other project,
right.
and suddenly you
Um,
have you have a collection of unsaved projects that you're never going to share.
So true.
Right.
So true.
how
So
many
true.
times? How many times do those end up like never seeing the light of day? Is my question.
Don't ask this. Why would you ask me? This is so hurtful.
I also want to ask this question openly to Astro and Spritemaster. I know you're not like active on Scratch anymore, but if you can find anything similar to this, like even in real life, like something, tell me about it. But first, Quite obviously, I've been talking about this slightly. The account is called Cobbled Sludge.
It's got nothing to do with me.
Never.
Believe me, nothing at all. Anyway,
It's just
I mean,
a guy.
it's got nothing to
just
do
a
with
guy
you.
that's trapped in the Untitled project.
And you have to get him out of there, man.
it's been fun to watch people interact.
We gotta
with
break
that.
him out.
I'm starting to be concerned we're letting out a sort of creature that ought not to have been let out.
What do you mean? This is the fun part.
A sordid folk that ought not to roam these parts.
That sordid folk ought not to roam these parts.
I was gonna say bold words for someone who literally just did that exact thing. Just showing people a fun and entertaining character and be like, hey, help me do something. And everyone's like, sure. And they're like, thanks. Anyway, enjoy the end of the world. They're like, wait, hold on.
I want to say
on a
the
second.
comments on Xylus from all the people. I know Spraymaster and Astro, you probably haven't been keeping up with this.
In
But,
that way, please explain first
Yeah.
what the heck is Xylus.
so I have this account called Xylus. It's part of like a Candle World game. It's like a meta game where you go through people like the profiles of the different characters and you can like talk with them. And the Xylus character asked like everyone participating to go do a thing. And then, oh no, he betrayed everyone. And now all the comments on his profile page are just like, you monster, you tomfool, you fooled
People
me
are
all, you
so
fooled us all,
mad.
you
They're
are a
like-
creature of sordid
They are
repute.
so mad at Xylus.
Yeah, they're getting like righteously
I
angry
think
at Xylus.
Xylus' comments. Xylus' comments on his own profile are funny. I just never interact with him because I'm not.
Probably
How
sorted.
long are you doing this game for? This sounds exhausting to check your messages all the
Xylus
time.
said, "If you are not sorted, don't interact." So I don't.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you, Astro, it's really not too bad. It's like when I have some free time, I pop in, I get like 10 messages. I don't get like hundreds. So I get like, I go through my 10 messages and then I respond with like a funny like character like
Related.
typing ism.
Typing
So
is-
Xylus
like
types
all of the
like a
Candle
madman.
World alts have different voices for their typing.
I think this is very fun. Until,
Do you have like an end date in mind?
Yeah.
End date when I finish Gumbelgurt 2, because all this sort of wraps into Gumbelgurt 2. Spoilers for
Oh,
my
wow.
Kidding?
my fans. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Are you kidding? Obviously,
Yeah,
it points towards that. It's got the
Gumbelgurt 2's
dodecahedron. It's got the dodecahedron is like the central core of the whole thing.
The dodecahedron.
This all
is
ties
a
into
Goombel.
something. Is this like what Marvel? What has Marvel taught people?
No, what has Kingdom Hearts taught him?
Candleworld is
Klabs is
better
on his
than the
way
MCU,
to
first of
surpassing
all.
Kingdom Hearts. Past the
Right.
point of like you have to own a game on every conceivable system to get the whole plot. He is on his way to.
Oh my
If you
God.
go to bed and wake up too late, there will have been an entire character that was born, put onto Scratch, lived, died, and erased in the time it took you to wake up,
Yeah,
and you'll
is it
never
like
even get that
Kraz?
piece of the plot.
right?
Dude, shout out to
Krasbot.
Krasbot, my man.
Krasbot was like born into existence and then died in 5 days. 'Cause
You
of the
can't- and you
actions
can't
of the
read about it.
players.
That entire history is just wiped, and you can't. I am mad, but
It's the ephemeral nature of the Candle World game. You can't.
That's really
It's not
cool.
always just gonna be there.
I guess
You
I
never,
just
you never stop playing, except Retro Knight. Retro Knight's dead.
At some
Retro
point,
Knight did die.
All I ask.
Rest in
Klabs,
peace. Rest in
all
peace,
I
dude.
ask is that at some point you make like a collection of everything that happened.
No.
'Cause Lord knows
No.
I am not able to
No.
follow everything. Just like a quick recap. Just this happened. That had
Dude, the
this
fans make
significance.
those.
That's true.
And they're
Yeah,
not
they're
always
on it. You can
accurate
look
either,
places.
which is pretty funny. But like,
Get on it, like, please.
You just have to go into the profile pictures of all the participants and see what they're fuming about this time, and then you get an idea.
That's good to know. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Sorted folk do
No,
roam
my-
these
Sword
parts.
folks do on these parts. Lost were those
Right.
without the fruit of no.
My projects are not.
Can I weigh in
normally-
on the?
Yeah.
Oh, can I weigh in on the side project?
Absolutely.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Some people may know that I have a second Scratch account It was originally supposed to be for like when I remix other people's projects, because I guess I thought that would be a whole category of things that I would put on a separate account.
Astro947 RMXs.
That's the
but now it's
banner
actually
account.
turned into almost like I use it just as much as I use my main account, and I put like smaller things that usually don't take me very long to make on there. But I'm honestly more proud of the stuff that I put on that account than
I
on
love
my main one
Astro
in a lot of
remixes.
ways.
I love Astro.
That's how it
remixes.
goes, man.
I have a side account, but like
You don't
the thing
post
that I put on my
anything,
side
Kieran.
account- I don't post anything on my, I have a side account. It's called KTrev258.
Yeah.
The main account is ScratchRunning.
That's the thing about the side projects is a lot of the times I think most of the time when you're making something, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're writing something, painting something, sculpting, it really doesn't matter the medium.
Yeah.
A lot of there's two separate categories, and that's the passion of it and then the discipline of it. And I think a lot of people, when
For
you
sure.
have the discipline to wake up every day and say, I'm gonna work on this for an hour, even if I don't want to, because I
That's
just need to do it. You have to get yourself into the muscle memory of actually creating and doing that.
Right.
And there's value to that. Undeniably, there's value to that. It's one of the most important lessons you can teach to someone who's a young person who's like trying to work creatively, is to set up that discipline. But here, another thing, and that this is something that's become more popular, especially in the past 2 years. I don't want to make everything about the pandemic, but it's definitely playing a factor in it, is burnout.
Yes.
And how burnout plays into, if you wake up and the last thing you want to do is write, and you're sitting there and you're writing, and it's just like you just feel like you're wasting your time, and it's kind of almost, this is a bit hyperbole, but it's like torturous to just sit there and write something, whether it's like hatred, self-hatred, or like self-doubt, or just like exhaustion. I think a lot of people use the advice about discipline and they just kind of push forward, and sometimes that can be kind of detrimental. Sometimes that can be something where
I was about to say
not gonna
sometimes
help.
it works, but sometimes it don't.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of understanding yourself and understanding like, okay, I need a line for myself. If I'm creating something and I'm not enjoying it and I'm not having fun doing it, then it's totally reasonable to go work on something else. And I think when Astro, when you said talking about sometimes you're more proud of your side projects than your main projects, that's because you're just following what feels good and you're following what you're having fun
100%.
making.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's
That's
more
true.
valuable to follow that feeling sometimes than it is to keep yourself disciplined on a certain project.
Absolutely.
I think
Oh,
following
absolutely.
that passion is more important most of the time.
Because pretty much for the last 12 years of my life, I've been doing like my discipline activity, but it's always been either school or either Scratch. And
Okay.
it's
I got
been
the
school for like the
Duolingo
last
streak, and
4
that's
years now, and I've pretty much only posted on my side account except for that entire movie that I made.
No,
that one
well,
time.
What was that again? I don't know. Sounds like a thing.
I can't even remember.
I need to give that a watch.
That's how a lot of my side projects are influenced. We joked about like having side projects as a distraction from your main one, but my rationale for making side projects is usually more like this, where I have the big ones that I'm working towards, but like midway through, I'll get a sudden thought in my head or like an idea for something completely different, and part of it is just like no, and as I like get drawn into it, but the other part of it is like, hey, while I'm just thinking about it and actually being pretty fascinated, I might as well just like get out part of it and see what it ends up looking like once I've made it, while I have that passion available. Because like you're right, you cannot drive a large scale project on passion alone, but it does help with the first bit really nicely. So, and it also gives you a nice breather from what you've been doing previously, so that you can actually go back to that and be happy. Like, hey, it's nice to get back to this instead of another however long of doing this.
Yeah,
I've got
like
two things about that. One of the reasons Gumbelgurt 2 has taken such an extreme amount of time to finish is because these distraction projects often are designed for me to create parts that I'm too afraid to like mess up when I'm making Gumbelgurt 2. Because I don't want to make a story processing engine for GT2, and then like halfway through writing the story, I realize I need to scrap a huge part of it because I didn't think ahead of time. Gumbelgurt 2 is kind of an insane process. There is like 200 Goombl Pokemon. There's online battling. There's online trading. There's a full story. There's an inventory. There's shops. There's multiple endings. There's like meta aspects of like going into other projects.
Oh, you mean it's like a standard RPG? No.
I mean, yeah.
All I'm saying is, if
in
Goombl
Scratch.
Dirt 2 doesn't come out in 2022, then my game of the year is Big Brain Academy. So
true.
No,
if it does
was a
come
joke,
out,
Klabss.
then there's Goombl Dirt 2.
It's an amazing effort you put together too. Like,
There's hundreds of hours of labor in this game, and if it was to like be actually on like a Steam or something, it'd be like 20 bucks, maybe $15.
yeah.
And so like I don't want to gunk any of it up because it's a lot of effort to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
I know, man. I know.
You should sell it as an NFT.
So I'll sell the Goombls as NFTs. Oh, I get to own.
Okay, that's actually a really good idea.
SRCast episode 28, segment 14.
They mentioned the word.
Wait, no, episode 29 was the Halloween episode, right?
No, it was 30. It was 30, right? No, you're right. No, I'm
30
sorry.
was
No,
in-
no.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, 28 was Halloween. 29 is to a new season.
Yeah.
30 is SRCast episode 28, segment I think 25.
What are we talking about? You guys want to do Q&A?
I'm talking about the let's do Q&A. Should get a
All right.
girlfriend.
We do.
No worries.
We should probably get to talking about Q&A soon because it is near the end of the episode. Unfortunately, because I love like at the start of this I was like, okay, I don't think this is gonna be the episode that is gonna leave the people with something they've been taught. But
What
we
are you talking
actually
about?
just
What?
we spent
And yet.
so much time like actually giving the greatest advice over here. So I don't know, I'm quite happy that we got this much great advice here from Mr. Spritemaster.
I'm really insightful.
You are. You're so wise, man.
I know. Wait,
Yeah.
you thought it wouldn't be insightful? It's insulting.
Well, I'm always happy to be surprised. So
Let's not retrospect before the fish is not even reeled in.
that's true.
We got more content to go.
Give me the
We're eating our
greatest.
time.
Give me the greatest Q&A question, Klabs. Asked
Well,
by
I
you.
have an advice question, which is
You have an
pretty
advice?
hilarious. But let me get one a normal one first. Okay, well, one of these questions. These are actually some very silly questions.
Oh, I like that
Because
one.
one of these was one I asked Kieran, and then he asked us through his other account. Would you rather have snakes for hands or hands for snakes?
What the heck?
Hands for snakes.
Now, there's a context to this. Not really. There's not a context, but there is an
The
insinuation.
context
There's an
is hands for
insinuation.
snakes.
So hands for snakes means that all snakes in the world are replaced with like hands, but like they also are snakes, so they can have like grab things.
What are you talking
So
about?
they're just sentient hands.
Yeah, I want pet
Are,
hands.
do
Like,
they
all
have
snakes
like
become-
do they have the tail that like snakes have? The very
So
long
no, it's like a
body?
snake tail. So it still has a snake. Yes.
But
Okay.
the head is a hand.
The head
Yeah.
is
Let's say the head and the tail is a hand for sake of simplicity.
But they are like zombie hands that do not need to eat and just move.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
snake. So it's just one hand that like moves, grabs.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just say it's one hand. So
It's like a hand with
tiny
an
wool
arm
master.
attached to it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Like, my man, that is the scariest thing ever.
Some people think
Or your
snakes are the
hands-
scariest thing ever.
Your
Oh.
hands become snakes, and you can't like stop it. Like you can't do anything about it.
This is
Just
the
stay
age
on
old.
it.
I feel like this. I feel like the snake head is just as useful as a hand, and the body is more useful than an arm.
What do you mean?
So I'm going for
Okay,
snakes
so-
for hands.
Can you use them? Are they like?
No, it's
are
you.
they yours?
Only you. You have been cursed
Oh, I
to have
assumed
your
so.
hands replaced with snakes, and they are not under your control.
Oh no.
Well, heck no, then they probably bite me.
I feel like
Yeah.
for the greater good of the people, I'd rather have snakes for hands.
Yeah.
So then it's
Yeah.
just me. I'll figure something out.
The world's filled with
You have to
feral
like
hands. Ain't
trank
too
them.
bad.
You have to tranquilize them like common, and you can't have them removed.
Ah.
What do you mean? That's not part of the. I was
No,
just
you
saying,
can't.
like,
You can't
Just cut them off.
They're snake. If you cut them off, you die.
Yeah, the question isn't would you rather haven't snakes for hands?
Yeah. So just because
gotta have
all of the snakes. So like, does anyone here have any friends in Australia?
No.
Go on.
I'd rather have hands for
Oh,
snakes.
I do.
You guys are even more screwed.
Oh no!
You're gonna have to deal with a lot of hands.
You guys have hands for snakes.
Look, nobody would want to go into a zoo anymore.
Oh my god, it's like that show.
Right,
It's like that show Ubi.
Okay.
Remember Ubi?
I do not.
No,
remember.
I
How
don't.
do
I
you spell
definitely
that?
don't.
All right, Ubi is Oobie, I think. It's a hand with eyes on it, and there was a whole kid show where it was just a bunch
Oh,
of
I see
hands,
this.
hands
Okay,
talking
yes.
to each other. Yeah, that's it.
Hands for snakes.
Yeah, all snakes are ubies.
Fascinating.
All snakes are ubies.
Who thought of this?
It's
mean,
it's kind of amazing, dude. You have to watch YouTube clips of it, or sorry, you have to watch clips of it, where it's just like hands. They like eat, and the way they eat is they just slam their hand down on the food and just like mush it up. They mush it up in their fingers, yeah, and then their toes, their feet. Sometimes it's weird.
That's awful.
Mm.
I hate it. Oh my
Thanks,
goodness!
I hate it.
There's this image I found, which is a Charmander, but in Ubi.
Ubi. We can't share. This is an audio
Oh.
format.
Oh, that is
So,
terrible.
would you rather have snakes for hands or hands for snakes? I will simply ignore the question and move on. With
Hands
my
for
day.
snakes.
All right, so true.
That's-
So true.
yeah, I would have snakes for hands for the whole world.
Just
I'm
for the
selfish.
greater good
Hands
of
for
the
snakes.
people.
Yes.
I want my hands.
I mean, that alone would just be like a question
Okay, like,
of science.
yeah.
Like,
I like having
How-
hands. Just
how
saying.
do they live by themselves? Like,
Opposable
Don't worry
snakes.
about it. All right, we're gonna do the Klabss advice segment.
oh, sure, fine. You know what?
All right, do it.
Run the music.
Okay.
Klabss, I need your spectacular, the genius advice. If you were to, I don't know, hypothetically hack into the Scratch Team servers to get a bunch of unshared projects and then get thrown into the highest security prison in the world, hypothetically, of course, how would you escape with nothing but a bowl of pasta, the knowledge of Gumblegurt 2 and Griff Patch's next project ID, and a old computer only able to play the 27th segment of the 14th episode of the SRCast? Hypothetically, of course.
You got a girlfriend.
How would you? So, this reads like a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
It does kind of read like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Okay, but I have the perfect advice. Have you ever
on.
seen Mythbusters?
Sure have.
Lay it on me.
They do a Prison Break episode where they talk about getting a radio. If you have a bowl of pasta, we're gonna assume you have some tomato sauce inside of it.
Okay.
And essentially, you can ring tomato sauce around a prison bar, get wires from your computer that is able to play the one segment of the SRcast, and it will go through like the
What do we even say
acidity
in
of
that
the
segment?
tomato. And it, dog, it's probably like you can get a girlfriend. I don't know. It's 27.
No.
It's too
Yeah.
early. Anyway, you'd be able to melt the bars off. You make your great escape. I think that's easy advice. Easy advice.
That's incredible. Also,
You're good at this.
they said Gumblegurt 2. You have the knowledge of it, so it's already out. So that means you're in
That's-
the year 2040. So they probably
Yeah, you're in like 2040. Your computer
Yeah.
probably has like installed onto it some sort of device to teleport you out of the jail cell. So,
Probably.
like, don't
TBA.
hurt me like that, Nick. Come on, man. It's gonna come out in like a year or something. I don't know.
I've been saying the same thing for like 3 years.
The cloud
Correct.
combat is finished. I just need to write. I just need to write a story, Nick,
Like,
and that's just
2
hard.
years ago, I was like, dude, this year could really work, man. This year could really work. And at the end of the year, I've been like, okay, so here's another 3 engines I gotta make for this.
You gotta shut your yapper. Shut your yapper. You're not me. I'm not you.
That is correct. That is correct. We're also not making the same game, so that's fair. Thank you for
So,
your advice, Klabss.
yeah.
Is what I've been trying to
course.
say this whole
Of
time.
course.
Poggers.
Since you joined Scratch Running, I've been trying to say thank you.
Oh,
That's all.
is this the time you want to say?
This is
Oh,
romantic.
I
Why
said
not?
it. Thank you. I just said it like 3 times.
Pretty
Should
forward.
I leave? You guys need some
Forward, Nick.
space.
Thank you for coding. Thank you for coding the ed menu.
Having a moment here.
I'm tearing up a little.
Can I say it? Can I say it? You're welcome.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank you.
Good
everybody.
episode, guys.
We ended it on like a good happy ending.
Yeah.
Klabss and I are friends again. Thank you.
So
Yeah, again, after all of our trauma.
yeah,
I'm
if
glad that got
you wouldn't
settled.
all mind letting our wonderful viewers, letting them know who you are before we end.
Everybody, we'll start
From the
at
top down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who's that
Oh,
up
gee,
there?
that's me.
OMG.
I am quite, and yeah, that's it for now. I
So
can't think of
good.
anything that I haven't already
Good.
talked about.
Not anybody else.
Hey, everyone watching this knows who Klabss is.
What? Kind of true, though. Kind of true. It's me. I'm Klabss.
Who's HmYesQuite right here?
You know what? I went last in the intro, so I'll go before Astro in the outro. No worries, dude. I got you.
Oh god, thank you.
Yeah,
Don't worry,
my
that's
name.
it.
Yeah, this has been Spritemaster. And yeah, I don't eat McChickens. Sorry.
You don't?
Nah, I'm
But your
vegan, bro.
nickname is
We're in the
Chicken
McDonald's
Master.
right now, and you ordered a whole plate.
Dude, it's not for
Why
me.
would you when the McGriddle is sitting right there?
Nah, you got the McDonald's Sprite.
I'm also Spritemaster,
Whoa,
and
whoa.
I do eat McChicken.
Well,
Mm.
Hello, I'm Lord. I've been really not even thinking. I've been like starting to work on Lord 6.
humble
Oh,
brag. Come on.
Nice.
Don't quote him on that.
Don't quote me on that it's ever gonna come out. But I'm trying hard. I know the 3K is coming up. I've been trying to get something, out there for you guys. But who knows? Maybe it'll never happen. Maybe the last project you're gonna get from me is gonna be Turanga someday.
Nick, can I
then
say
I'll-
something?
Yes, please, Klabss.
Thanks for coming on the podcast and giving us good
Dude.
advice.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, some good advice.
This has been a good
Some good
episode.
advice. This has been
A wild one.
Yeah, it's been a wild one.
Yeah,
Everybody-
The order in this episode has been so much more so than I thought. I thought it was going to be chaos back to front.
All right, I'm Kieran K. Travis 258. This has been the
Oh my
SRCast.
god, he's stolen my identity. I don't even know who I am anymore.
Can I
The
just say
recording has now stopped.
thank you? No,
Okay,
no,
dude.
it has not. I want to
You
say
don't have that
thank
power.
you to everybody out there for listening. It's the third season of this dang podcast, and you're still here with us. If you want to look at the stuff we talked about, the projects, I don't know how many there were, maybe 2 or 3 or
Yeah,
3.5. You can check them out in the notes and credits right
we got
there.
the SRCast mentioned Project Studio. We got the studio with all the episodes of the ScratchRunning Podcast.
All right. Alternatively, you can watch more content of ours on our YouTubes.
Subscribe to ScratchRunning
Right.
on YouTube.
If you also want to support us, I don't know if you can. If that's cool. If you wanna.
I mean, you don't have to.
We might actually have merch right now if you want to have a look. That's crazy. I
Have
didn't
a
think
look.
about it. I didn't think it would
Whoa.
ever happen. You can get.
Sorry, it was just a
Get yourself the
download.
Edward mug.
Just buying 30.
Pre-ordering it.
Yeah.
We have an Edward NFT, guys. Isn't that crazy?
No!
Yep.
Please don't
The
even
recording is
joke
now
about
stopped.
that.